Being dangerous is just one of the ways many animals gain the edge in the never-ending game of survival. Whether in modern times, history, or prehistory, the world's meanest animals have never been scared to let their teeth, claws, size, venom, or speed do the talking. Today's video focuses on the past, as we take a look at 20 of history's most frightening monsters. Without further ado, let's get right into it. 20. Giant killer scorpion. The world was a completely different place 400 million years ago, during the Devonian period. Oxygen levels in the air were high due to the emergence of land plants and the widespread distribution of moss, and all that sweet oxygen allowed invertebrates to thrive and grow to tremendous sizes. Among these giant bugs were scorpions the size of golden retrievers. One species, Pulmonoscorpius kirktonensis, was a particular standout and a menace to many other creepy crawlies. The giant killer scorpions were over 2 feet long at full size, and they packed proportionally large tails. Doubtless, the venom would have given any human a tough time at the least. 19. Bone-crushing dog. The largest dog species ever, Epicyon hydini, was a fearsome sight in the wilds of the Americas. From Canada to Chile, dogs from the Epicyon genus, whose name is Greek for more than a dog, brought down game as large wild horses, antelope, and bison. They lived during the Miocene, between 20 and 5 million years ago. Standing at over 3 feet at the shoulder and weighing as much as 280 pounds, they also boasted the biggest, meanest teeth in the canine world. They also had tremendous jaw muscles, which made them the ultimate scavengers for bones others couldn't crack. Epicyon was both solitary and social, showing its great versatility. They were at home on grassy plains, thick tropical forests, icy tundra, and everything in between. They likely went extinct due to competition from smaller predators and climate change. 18. Terror birds. Before the frightening cassowary, the Earth was home to the terror birds. Several subfamilies and even more species of these terrestrial carnivores formed a family called Phorus racidae. Almost all of them lived in South America, though a few migrated north and diverged. Paleontologists are still at odds about whether they made it to Africa and Eurasia. Kelencan guillemoi, which lived in the Argentina-Chile region, was the biggest of them, with a 28-inch skull and 18-inch beak. It stood at nearly 10 feet, making it a formidable presence, and its skeletal structure indicated great athleticism. Scientists believe it could have reached speeds of 30 miles per hour, ideal for pursuing a variety of prey. They were also imposing scavengers, using their giant beaks and talons to dish out punishment to rivals. 17. Armored fish. We could easily fill this entire list with some of the sea monsters the ocean has been home to over the eons. Our next entry is the horrific Dunkleosteus, which lurked in the limitless depths during the Devonian, an age of forgotten monsters. Dunkleosteus, which is a genus, had at least 10 species, all of which dwelled in the ocean's pelagic zone. They were characterized by heads and necks covered in thick armored plates and massive blade-like jaws. They preyed on other fish and various invertebrates, snapping at unsuspecting victims with as much as 80,000 pounds per square inch (psi) of force, the most of any fish ever. These fish were as large as 33 feet and 4 tons. Scary. 16. Quetzalcoatlus. Quetzalcoatlus was the largest of the flying dinosaurs, with proportions closer to fighter jets than to any bird flying the skies today. This late Cretaceous pterosaur had a wingspan of up to 52 feet and a shoulder height of 10 feet. The beak alone was over 8 feet long. Weight is highly debated, but some estimates go as high as 550 pounds, which is a lot for a flying animal. There are also debates about what it ate and how it fed. Many experts assert Quetzalcoatlus skimmed water bodies for fish. Others say it was a hawkish predator of both terrestrial and aquatic prey. Some also say it relied almost exclusively on scavenging. What we do know for sure is that this giant's beak could make short work of a person. 15. Beast bear. Arctotherium is the collective term for the giant short-faced bears that once ruled Central and South America. The largest species, Angustodons, is estimated to have reached 4,000 pounds in weight and on its hind legs, 14 feet in height. This bulk was key to its grisly and vicious killing techniques. These beastly bears preyed on anything they liked. They were probably very fond of guanacos and vicuñas, wild cousins of llamas and alpacas. They competed for prey with wild cats, dogs, and other Pleistocene predators. 14. Deinonychus. This raptorial dinosaur had both speed of movement and speed of thought, making it one of history's most ruthless hunters. It reached heights of 11 feet and boasted impressive speed to both pursue prey and evade predators. It had mean-looking claws that it used to rip prey and enemies to shreds and sharp teeth for picking up the pieces. The ruthless theropod preyed on anything it could overpower, including its own kind. Deinonychus lived between 115 and 108 million years ago during the early Cretaceous period. 13. Megapiranha. No, we're not talking about a certain terrible horror film. Megapiranha was a real terrifying thing that existed during the late Miocene, between 9 and 7 million years ago. The largest specimens may have grown to 28 inches and weighed as much as 22 pounds, far bigger than modern piranhas. Its teeth were bigger too, and just as sharp. Let's just be glad it's gone. 12. Haast's eagle. The biggest eagle ever, the Haast's eagle was a 40-pound bird of prey that specialized in killing animals much bigger than itself. It lived on the South Island of New Zealand, where it was revered by the Maori people as a deity in the flesh. They hunted flightless birds like the moa, which were more than 10 times their size. Their killing strategy involved using their sharp talons and beaks to cause fatal blood loss. They also preyed on rodents, other birds, and livestock. Small children were also at risk, and even adults could be seriously maimed. 11. Megalania. Megalania is best described as a Komodo dragon on steroids that decided to take even more steroids. These giant monitor lizards were the terror of Australia's wildlands up until just 50,000 years ago. Megalania was an opportunistic predator, pursuing everything from bird eggs to massive marsupials like Diprotodon. Its hemotoxic venom was instrumental in killing larger prey. It was over 20 feet long and weighed as much as 1,400 pounds. A human would have been a tidy snack. 10. Giant viper. Next is the biggest venomous snake ever. Laophis crotalloides was a massive viper that lived in Greece during the Pliocene. We know very little about it because very little fossil evidence has been found. Luckily, the fossils we have found are vertebrae, which are useful in determining size and, as a result, probable behavior. Estimates give the snake a length of over 13 feet and a body mass of nearly 60 pounds. In comparison, the king cobra, the biggest snake today, tops out at around 20 pounds max. Given its size, it was most likely an ambush predator, lying in wait for rats, frogs, birds, or pretty much anything that could fit in its mouth. It also packed hemotoxic venom like most extant vipers. 9. Leviathan, a sea monster of biblical proportions. The Leviathan, named after the Leviathan sea creature featured in the Bible, was actually a prehistoric sperm whale. These giants existed during the Miocene epoch, around 10 to 9 million years ago. They sported the biggest teeth of any biting animal ever. These chompers were up to 1.2 feet long. Leviathan was an apex predator among apex predators, and it hunted anything it wanted. Whales, sharks, squids, turtles, you name it. At 60 feet long and weighing more than 60 tons, this mega whale was rarely outmatched. Like modern whales, Leviathan likely relied on a highly advanced biosonar system to navigate, hunt, and communicate. 8. Saber-toothed cats. Cats are among the most successful groups of predators out there, and this extinct subgroup was no exception in its day. Saber-toothed cats, which belong to the Machairodontinae subfamily of cats, were found all over the globe. Their time spanned from the Middle Miocene to the Holocene, roughly 15 million to 11,000 years ago. The most famous is Smilodon, which lived in the Americas and preyed on all it surveyed, including early humans. These big cats could grow to 900 pounds, significantly larger than modern lions and tigers. Their massive canines were as sharp as steak knives and were useful for penetrating the thick hides and armor of many prey animals. 7. Giganotosaurus. This massive theropod dinosaur was once the king of South America, between 195 million years ago. Like the T-Rex, Giganotosaurus lumbered about the plains and woods looking for anyone unlucky enough to be within reach of their jaws. At more than 40 feet long and weighing as much as 15 tons, no one could stand against them. It preyed on sauropods, theropods, fish, and pretty much anything else. Giganotosaurus likely did a lot of scavenging too, given the great numbers of other hunters during the time. There are still debates about the nature of this beast and how it interacted with its environment, but there is no doubt that it was incredibly dangerous. 6. Titanic boa. The South American jungles of the Paleocene, 66 to 56 million years ago, were teeming with all sorts of dangerous creatures, despite the fairly recent demise of the dinosaurs. Few of these monsters could compare to the largest snake the world has ever seen, Titanoboa. This horror serpent was over 40 feet long and thicker than a man. This means that would have been a light snack. For real satisfaction, Titanoboa went after the giant river turtles and crocodilians that dwelled in its swampy jungle kingdom. Though sluggish on the ground, it was smooth and deceptively quick in the water, making it a devastating predator. After ambushing prey, the snake would pin prey in place with massive jaws lined with hundreds of needle-sharp teeth. Next, it would begin coiling its humongous self around the poor victim before squeezing until circulation was cut off, bones were crushed, or in many cases, both. Victims were swallowed whole and slowly digested, scales, bones, horns, glasses, and all. 5. Titanic croc. In addition to giant snakes, the Americas were also home to massive crocodilians. Deinosuchus, an ancient cousin of the American alligator and caiman, haunted the waters of the southern US and northern Mexico between 82 and 73 million years ago. These large reptiles were nearly 40 feet long and weighed as much as 9 tons, making them much bigger than the saltwater or Nile crocodiles we have today. Their jaws alone were 6 feet long, lined with teeth longer than your fingers. As you probably guessed, prey included everyone, including other crocodilians. Realistically speaking, a large Deinosuchus could probably take down a grown modern elephant. 4. Paleoloxodon. Paleoloxodon is a genus of extinct elephant species, some of which were the largest land mammals ever. Namadicus, believed to be the largest of all, had femurs longer than 5 feet. Using such fossils, it is estimated that these behemoths grew to 17 feet at the shoulder and weighed up to 50,000 pounds. Given how dangerous modern elephants can be, it's frightening to think what an animal twice the size could do. 3. Tyrannosaurus rex. The terrible king of the lizards, the T-Rex is the largest land carnivore ever. It reigned over North America in the late Cretaceous, before the great demise of the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. With its titanic frame, it preyed on most other dinosaurs, ripping them apart with razor-sharp teeth and bone-crushing jaws. Though long believed to be an active pursuer, modern movement experts believe it was too large to run that fast, if at all. Now we believe it was more of an ambush predator and opportunistic scavenger. We may never know the truth, but that's a fair trade for not having to live alongside this beast. 2. Mosasaurus. These water dinosaurs have inspired many modern tales of sea or lake monsters. However, between 82 and 66 million years ago, these lizard-like predators were a real part of the ecosystem. Today, we call them mosasaurs, and we have identified at least 50 species from fossils. The largest species is Mosasaurus hoffmanii, which grew to 40 feet and weighed around 11 tons. It preyed on fish, turtles, cephalopods, and other marine reptiles, including smaller mosasaurs. Imagine going for a dive and swimming alongside these nightmares. Big nope. 1. Megalodon. The king of the fishes, Odotus megalodon, was a massive member of the lamniforms order, which is home to modern terrors like the great white shark. The megalodon was estimated to be nearly 70 feet long, but that's debatable. Equally debatable is its estimated 68-ton weight. What isn't debatable is the size of their teeth, the only part of them that was preservable. At more than 7 inches long, the Meg's enamel-coated teeth were the size of pizza slices, and it never ran out. Like modern great whites, this prehistoric shark had rows upon rows of replacement teeth behind its front chompers. You could ride a horse through this monster's gaping jaws, So just imagine the chunks it tore off the whales it preyed on during the Miocene and Pliocene. While it would have been cool to see the megalodon alive and doing its thing, that thing could easily extend into eating us. Ultimately, its extinction 4 million years ago was probably for the best. Conclusion. That's all we have time for today, folks. Thank you for watching, and we hope you like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to keep up with future uploads. Until next time, take care.